Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. We have got an absolutely jam-packed, stacked transfer news, kind of, manager news, kind of. It's a bit of everything in today's video, so buckle yourselves in. Get yourself a beverage of choice. I've actually finished it to be fair, which is kind of awkward. It's an immunizer. Vitamin C 1000 milligrams with a bit of zinc in it with some elderberry flavouring. It's delightful. Or even got some Bovril. My desk is full of weird and wonderful things right now. But there's also some weird stories that we are going to crack straight into. Once, of course, you've subscribed to the George Benson football channel. Because why wouldn't you have done that yet? Is my question to you. And whilst you're here, also hit the like button if you enjoy yourself whilst you're actually in my presence. I guess you could say. The cat's roaming around somewhere, so if you hear her meowing, I'll pick her up and I'll throw her in the video just for an extra bonus cat, because everyone wants that in a football video. There is some news that has come out pretty recently at the time of me recording this video. Ruben Amorim's recent trip to London was paid for by Chelsea, not West Ham United. That's according to journalist Pedro Sepulveda, who says it is actually Chelsea who brought him over for discussions. This comes via Sport Witness, and this was tweeted by Simon Phillips. Now, I'm not turning around here and saying to you guys that this is gospel truth. I'm not telling you that Chelsea flew Ruben Amorim for talks to be the new Chelsea manager over to London, but this is ever so slightly odd, isn't it? That all of a sudden, there are journalists in Portugal coming out there and saying, well, it was Chelsea. I don't know if this Pedro Sepulveda is looking to try and get some spikes on his Google search for trend reasons and SEO and all of this stuff. At this point, I don't. But then at the same time, I'm trying to justify why this can't be true. But then I will also say we were led to believe that Graham Potter was the long-term manager. We were led to believe that the hiring and firing under the new ownership wasn't the case. They were trying to rectify what was so wrong about Abramovich. It wasn't wrong, it was just won us loads of trophies. But we fired Thomas Tuchel out of nowhere. We fired Graham Potter. We brought in Frank Lampard. Crazier things will have happened than Chelsea flying over Ruben Amorim for talks. And as well as that, why would he not be that interested in Liverpool but then go for talks with West Ham? Do you know what I mean? Something is just a bit fishy about this one. And I don't really know much more about it. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm not saying it happened, but I'm just saying that there might be an element of, this could actually be true about this story. So we'll see if that one develops into anything as the story and the days go on. Now then, we got to get a bit sentimental. We might get a bit emotional. Thiago Silva. I made a short about it. I've actually made a few shorts about Thiago Silva recently. They've all been positive. And yesterday we saw a beautiful video that was posted. 4 minutes, almost 4:20. And to be honest, I needed a joint to go through this one and enjoy it, to be honest, because it was heavy. It was tough. I was walking the dog and I was just pitched up, looking on my phone, and I was like, bloody hell. I thought for a second he was about to do it in English, but no. I think it's good that he did it in Portuguese. And it's just straight from the heart, isn't it? Thiago Silva just gets Chelsea Football Club. And when I see that video yesterday, I'm like, bloody hell. It didn't hit me until I saw that video just how much of a mission and a challenge and a task it's going to be to actually replace this guy. I know he's 39 now and he might not be as quick, as agile and as great as he was 4 years ago when we first bought him, but I'd say he's still the best centre-back at the club by a country flipping mile. So, yeah, there's a lot of positions, and we're going to talk about Madri in this video also, because I think it's time to talk about him, isn't it, really? And the potential Jack Grealish and Xavi Simons, I can already see you going nuts with your keyboards right now, but just hold it. We're going to have to take a look at the stats and stuff in a little while. But Thiago Silva, check out the short if you want to hear my thoughts more. But what a bloke, what a player, and what a legend of Chelsea Football Club. And, of course, in my opinion, the Premier League as well. So, let's begin, first of all, with the news about West Ham's Jared Bowen. Chelsea want to sign West Ham United winger Jared Bowen this summer as they look to bolster their attack, according to Simon Phillips. Now, if you look at these stats here, this is Jared Bowen this season. He's 27 years old. He's played 42 times for West Ham. Of course, they've been in Europe as well, knocked out by Bayer Leverkusen. Unbeaten Bayer Leverkusen. 20 goals, 10 assists, 2.9 shots per game and 0.9 key passes per game. These stats from Jared Bowen, if it wasn't Jared Bowen, like, do you know what I mean? He's that kind of player that because he's not got Enio at the end of his name, or, I don't know, he's not played for Barcelona or Real Madrid, people maybe don't give him the credit that he deserves. But consistently, in the Premier League, over-delivering in my opinion. But maybe it gets to a point when you've got to say, he's not over-delivering, he's just that good of a footballer. And I, personally, some people might not like this, but in my belief, right, Noni Madueke, I think, has got a lot of talent. He's very raw. Mudryk, I think, still has a lot of talent. He's very raw. Noni has got the fight and I think the determination to actually, like, maybe make it at Chelsea. Whereas Mudryk, I think maybe not. Jared Bowen would like to probably play on that right side. I would be very, very open to this, you know. He's a leader. He's 27 years old. He's played at the top level now. He's an England international. I would be all over this, to be fair. I don't know exactly what the price point would be for Jared Bowen if West Ham were to sell him, but this man is guaranteed goals. The only thing I would say is obviously Cole Palmer playing on the right. We do want to see him potentially a bit more central. I do think that's where we'll get the best out of him. So imagine, hear me out for a second. Imagine we don't sign an out-and-out striker because we get priced out of a move for Osimhen. We get priced out of a move for Gyökeres. Nkunku comes back fit next season. Nkunku up top, Nicholas Jackson on the left wing, Cole Palmer through the middle, and Jared Bowen on the right. I don't think that is awful. And we're going to go and talk now about a couple more potential players that Chelsea are rumoured to be interested in. As the season comes to an end, guys, transfer videos will be back big time here on this YouTube channel. So, this is interesting. And a lot of people, when I tweeted this the other day, it got about 200,000 impressions. A lot of you are like, I said I don't want to speak. I'm not going to speak because I'd already pissed off enough people about the Caicedo and Declan Rice video. Chelsea are said to have internally discussed potentially making a move for Jack Grealish. Now, I'm going to just stick the stats up on the screen here. And I fully understand why you guys would be leaving your comments. Benson, don't do it. Don't say you want Jack Grealish. And to be fair, I really like Jack Grealish. I like his attitude, but I just don't think he's anywhere near good enough on the field. It's as simple as that. If you look at these stats, he's 28 years old. He's playing for Man City, a team where you're basically given the golden ticket to assist or score goals, basically. If you're an attack-minded player, even if you're a centre-back, you'll get goals and assists at Man City, but 3 goals, 3 assists, 1.1 shots per game and 1.3 key passes per game. For Jack Grealish this season, let's do the maths here. If you got 1.1 shots per game, you made 35 appearances. That's 35 shots, 3 goals. It's shocking. Jack Grealish's statistics for Man City this season are absolutely woeful. And I just have this weird feeling that it would be exactly the same as Raheem Sterling. Sterling goes from Man City, where he's won almost everything bar the Champions League, but then he's at Chelsea, where he's not really even competing for that. So, like, for Sterling, I get why he's not been as good. He's not in an oiled engine team anymore, and he's kind of like, well, I'm not going to win anything with this lot, so like, whatever. For Grealish, it's like you go from being a treble winner to having Jeremy Doku come in and be like, I think Guardiola's kind of backing him a bit more. You've got Bernardo Silva. If we're going to take anyone from Man City, Bernardo Silva is the bloke that I would take all day long. There were rumours about a month ago that City might be open to selling him in the summer, in which case all of the attention goes away from Jack Grealish and straight onto Bernardo Silva. For me, I wouldn't go anywhere near Jack Grealish. But he is 28, so there is experience there. Now, much to people's dismay, all right, I'm going to say here that there's a 21-year-old who can play out on the left wing that could be a much better option. Xavi Simons. I'm going to stick his stats up on the screen right now for you guys to feast your eyes on, whilst I unfortunately give my verdict on Mudryk. I have been a flip-flop this season in many different ways on the channel. This almost feels like an apology. It's not an apology. I don't apologise for flip-flopping because I believe that's just what football is all about. And as fans, results depend the mood that we're in and what we feel about the team. So to flip-flop is actually just following your team. So I have said at times this season that Mudryk is on the verge of exploding. Mudryk is ready to explode, and then he scores a couple of goals, and I'm like, Poch, you've got to pick him. You've got to pick him. You've got to pick him. But like when this guy goes through a run of not scoring or getting an assist, players don't even pass him the ball anymore. And I genuinely can understand why. Because when he doesn't Mudryk. Look, if he was playing behind the striker, I'd get it. Like, if Chelsea actually had a forward, could stick Nicholas Jackson on the left wing and put Mudryk central with Palmer on the right, I genuinely think we'd already be qualified for the Europa League. I genuinely believe that. But we can't. So Mudryk was bought as a left winger. He's being used as a left winger. And I genuinely don't think he's at Premier League level as a left winger. I made a tweet again earlier this week saying that Amari Hutchinson should be given a shot at Chelsea for next season and Mudryk could have a championship loan. Look, based on what I see from Mudryk on the average game, I think he would struggle even in the championship. And I'm not just saying that because he's obviously so quick and you've got those highlight reel videos from training and all of this stuff. Like, it makes me sound like a fool for saying that this guy might struggle in the championship. But honestly, I'm struggling to see a future for Mudryk at Chelsea. I really am. And as much as there should be a massive emphasis on a striker, new centre-back, maybe a goalkeeper, and probably a left-back this summer, I think the left midfield position for Chelsea is also massively important. So, I'm going to get Xavi Simons' stats up on the screen here. RB Leipzig, 21 years old, 9 goals, 13 assists, 2.4 shots per game, 2.1 key passes per game. This guy is incredibly exciting as a footballer. And I would be happy, even though I've said I don't want Chelsea to keep buying youngsters, I don't necessarily want it to go the complete opposite direction. I don't want it to get so extreme now that we overbuy older players and we don't look at the younger market. There's still potentially bargains that can be made. Arsenal are also interested in Xavi Simons, and I think when you look at the way that Arteta is profiling players and bringing them into Arsenal and just making that team so much better, if Arsenal are interested in a player now, you've got to kind of sit up and take note. And it's not about like trying to get one up on them like we did with Mudryk, and that failed. Yeah, it did. But Xavi Simons has obviously been on the radar of a lot of top European clubs for so long, and I really think he could be an option for Chelsea if the price was indeed to be right. If I had to pick one of these two to sign, Jack Grealish or Xavi Simons, the two guys in the thumbnail, I'd be picking Xavi Simons over Grealish all day long. For Chelsea to get him from City, City will be charging a premium. They spent 100 million on him 2 years ago. And I think, to be fair, like, I'm not sure Grealish is... I just don't think he's good enough, to be quite honest. I thought he was very exciting at Aston Villa, and maybe at City he's just not being utilised that well, but like, it's Pep Guardiola, for goodness sake. You don't spend 100 million on a player and then just be like, I don't know what to do with him. Or he does. Calvin Phillips. Like, that was also a joke, but whatever. I think Jared Bowen is a great option for Chelsea. I also think Nicholas Jackson off the left wing next year is a great option for Chelsea. But overall, with Mudryk, to wrap up this video, I think we need to look in the market to replace him this summer. I don't think Chelsea can sit around and wait for that potential to explode to happen when what we're getting on the pitch right now, in my humble opinion, is nowhere near Premier League standard, let alone Chelsea standard. But anyway, thoughts on all of these news stories today. I quite like the energy in this video. It's felt good. So if you enjoyed yourself, hit the like button. Subscribe if you are new around here. Also, I'll catch you guys in a bit.